Art made from tiny pieces of glass, men who send discs soaring, and the look of yesteryear glamour. Welcome to In Live. I'm Melissa McTee and you're watching In Live. We're bringing you the stories from the pages of In Magazine. Think of us as In Magazine come to life. Today we're in the beautifully restored Liberty Hall Theater in downtown Tyler. And joining me now is Danny Mogul, editor of In. Danny, what can you tell me about Liberty Hall?
Well, Melissa, the theater opened in the mid-1930s. For about 50 years, it showed movies here. A couple of years ago, the City of Tyler and East Texas Symphony Orchestra purchased this property. They raised millions to restore it, and now look at it today. It's the cornerstone of the downtown arts district.
Wow. Well, speaking of the arts, there's a local Tyler woman here that makes beautiful mosaics, and she's nationally known.
Yeah, she's fabulous. Her name is Cassie Edmonds, and she uses small pieces of tile and beads and turns it into fabulous, large-scale works of art.
I've been doing mosaics for about 15, 16 years, and I've been doing it professionally now for about 4 years. The mosaics are generally described as taking glass pieces or sometimes ceramic and creating images. I've always been one that couldn't sit still very long, so even if it was just watching TV, I had to have something to keep my hands busy. And so I've always had hobbies. And one afternoon, my mother called and said that they were having a mosaic class at the Tyler Museum of Art. I wanted to go with her. And so I said, sure, it sounded interesting, and that's pretty much where it started. I don't think I ever turned back. A lot of people nowadays kind of think of mosaics as the broken china, the flower pots, and I did as well. And so after the class, I just enjoyed it as a fun hobby. And within probably 6 months, I found myself in Austin in an art gallery, and there was a mosaic tabletop that had been done, and I looked at it, and it was so well done and so pretty, but they had used stained glass, and I realized at that moment, that for me was the pinnacle moment, when I looked at that and realized it was stained glass. And it's like a lot of doors opened, ideas opened up. It lent itself to allow me to do more things with stained glass, using stained glass as my main material. And I literally came home from that trip and dumped all my broken plates that I had been using entirely. And then over the years, I've slowly built up my inventory of stained glass, first getting it from stained glass artists that do windows and things. I would go to them and they'd give me their scraps because I had no tools. And it just really progressed from there. I mean, once I kind of got a handle on how to use it, whether it's, because first I was breaking the stained glass, and then people would help me out. The stained glass artists, here's some tools you should try. And again, over a long period of time, I really, on my own, just developed and taught myself how to do what I'm doing now. Once my commission work increased and the amount of commission work I was asked to do, I started to see that I could make a living at it. And before that, I was doing I would have a regular job and then come home and work on mosaic pieces that I would then take to some art galleries that were selling my work for me. You don't make money on that until it sells. So the great thing about commission work is that you're constantly, moving pieces and earning an income. I pretty much focused most of my time in my studio of just getting better. I just wanted to be better. Every time I'd make a piece, it was always a little bit better than the one before. And you know, I might read a book or watch a video or see some other artist's work that I would see a new way to try to do a piece. And so as I've gone along, I've continued to hone my skills. And once it got to the point where it was one particular piece that I had done when I knew I was good enough. And there's a point where, as an artist, you know you're there when you don't have to ask anybody what they think. And that's a big difference, because before it was like I'd finish a piece and I'd want to know what other people thought. What do you think? And I think that's where I transitioned from just taking it to be a hobbyist to being a true artist, where you do it because you want to do it. You do it regardless.
I love all the bold colors and details she uses in her pieces.
Melissa, to really appreciate how good her art is, you need to take a good close-up look. She has a piece on display in the lobby of Bethesda Health Clinic.
Now, Danny, in the magazine, there's a story about the Rose City Disc Club who gets together and plays disc golf.
They do, and some of them are actually professional disc golfers, and you're going to be amazed what they can do with the disc.
Disc golf is a lot like ball golf. We have baskets instead of holes. That we do in this park. In some other parks, they may have obstacles, and that's another way a lot of people play disc golf, is they'll just throw the obstacles. Okay, from here to that telephone pole, from here to that trash can, which is actually the way I got into it. Probably, I'm going to think it was in 79, 80, or 81. So I've been playing about 36, 37 years. The putters are mainly for anything within, say, 50 feet or less, mid-range or anywhere from 300 feet in. And then we have drivers for longer throws. 400, one time I could throw up to 450, but as I've gotten older, I just don't have the ability to throw as far. Well, what I'm gonna do now is just practice a little bit of putting and then probably some drives. I've found that it takes me a little longer to warm up. We're not one of the largest clubs in the United States. There are clubs that may have 100 people show up sometimes. But they'll show up and we'll figure out what we're going to play. And
let me know what your count is. When you get four, there's 2 foursomes and 2 threesomes. The aces and the threes are the threesomes. The jacks and the other, forget what it is. Oh, that's mine. I'm a jack.
What we do here is we play based on handicaps, which gives anyone, even a starting player, an opportunity to compete with a player that's been playing as long as I have. We've got some younger guys that can out-throw me out here now, and the main thing about handicaps is you just have to beat your own handicap. You don't have to beat the player that you're playing against, which makes it more challenging, makes it funner for beginning players to come out and get to play with people and learn how to play. It's a great family sport because you don't have to have a whole lot of equipment. As I said, you can go out in your garage, you can just get a couple of Frisbees and come out and play with Frisbees. And you can bring your family, your wife, your kids, or husband, depends upon whether it's the wife that likes to play or the husband likes to play, and just have a great time. I mean, you can play the short courses out here and just have fun with your kids, and then if you get more interested over time, you can start to get more competitive. I said I started playing in about 1979, 1980, 1981, somewhere in that time frame. And within a couple of years, probably by 1983, I was starting to be competitive. I was starting to play in tournaments. It could be anything from just bringing your family out to being a very competitive. It's a fun sport. It's a great sport. It's very healthy. The fact that you get to walk around and just see kind of nature. Beautiful. But probably the things I enjoy the most are just the camaraderie, getting out with friends, have an opportunity to play. You get to the point where when you throw a disc, you know what the disc is going to do. There's a lot of joy in seeing that disc leave your hand, fly, and come in where you expect it to come in. For me, disc golf has been very beneficial. I'm a type 1 diabetic. And I did mention earlier that I played indoor soccer for a while. That was after I'd been playing disc golf for a while as well. And tore up my knee pretty bad when someone went through it. There's not too many sports that I could play, but as a type 1 diabetic, getting out, walking around, It's helped, in my mind, it's helped me to stay as healthy as I am. Now, unfortunately, I've gained some weight over the years, but still, I'm fairly healthy for a 57-year-old player.
Now that looked like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it sure did. You know, this club gets together every weekend at Lindsay Park, which has 3 disc golf courses. And I promise you, they're happy to share tips and strategies.
Now, one of the biggest disc golf tournaments coming up at the region is at Lindsay Park on January 21st. Now, for other things to do in our community, here's our community calendar.
One of my favorite sections of the magazine is healthy living, and in this issue we're dealing with the topic of youth and strength training.
Yes, and more kids are getting more involved with strength training, but it's something they need to be more careful with doing.
Yeah, the experts say they need good supervision and they need to be taught proper techniques. Now we're going to meet a teenager who's been doing strength training for years and it's really paid off. Let's meet Nathan Niedruaur.
I'm Nathan Niedruaur. I play football for Robert E. Lee, and I play defensive end. A few years back, I think I was 12 or 13. I met Kelly at a football camp, an Adrian Peterson football camp, and he talked to my dad, and he kind of gave us like a vision, like if I wanted to be serious about football, he kind of gave me like a pathway. My dad was a Division I cross-country runner, and his dad was a Division I cross-country runner. So I kind of came from genetics that are a lot smaller than what I envisioned. But working out for a long period of time, like I did with Kelly, I kind of was able to like shift my body type, which works better for football. Like in the beginning, it was a little bit rough, but once I got going, it kind of just like came naturally. And now it seems like I've been doing it my whole life. A lot of days, like the days with Kelly that I really dread are his leg workouts. His leg workouts are tough. A lot of reps, a lot of weight, and you just gotta keep moving. It's like straight moving for almost an hour. Just basic explosiveness. That is for any position, even offensive line, even the big boys, they just need explosiveness. That'll help. And the type of weight training that I do here with Kelly, it just builds upon, it builds and builds and builds, and it builds on itself. I really didn't see myself in this position even a year ago or even 2 years ago. But I've just been able to compete at so much of a more superior level, and I owe that to Kelly. My max squat is 520. My max bench is 345. I mean, by the end of high school, I'd love to be a 600-pound squatter. That's my goal, but I'm always just trying to go for even 5 pounds is exciting.
Nathan is a standout tackle on the Robert E. Lee High School football team. Next year he'll be a senior, but the college scouts, they're already taking notice of him.
And what I like about it is he's developed great exercise habits that are going to benefit him the rest of his life.
Mm-hmm. You know, we're up here in the balcony of Liberty Hall in these really cool box seats, and it's like going back in time, back when there was yesteryear glamour.
Yes, and yesteryear glamour is reflected in our fashion feature. Our videographer, Zach Lackey, was there when models Lauren and Holly posed in fashions from Queen Bee and Lionheart Boutique. We want to thank the city for allowing us to use Liberty Hall today. And remember, you can pick up In Magazine on newsstands throughout the region or find it online at inmagtexas.com. Now, before we go, we want to share a video of wife and husband duo Matt and Megan Magill.
The Magills lived in New York City for 9 years before moving to Tyler. They recently released their 4th album. It's an album with songs of faith. This single is called Yes.
Is there enough for me? Can you deliver me? Will you remember me? Have you forgiven me? The answer is always yes. We're in a state of grace, we're a perfect mess. The answer is always yes. If you're asking, you're already blessed. Will you see me through? Can I really rest in you? I need you to help me see how I could really be this free. The answer is always yes. He couldn't love us more, he won't love us less. The answer is always yes. If you're asking, you're already blessed. Don't be afraid to wonder, how could it be that I miss love? If you're searching for an answer, you'll find the only one who's more than enough. Will not change, unlike the rest. Even though him is again.